Hi everyone, it's Kenya. Today is June 18th, 2021, and I'm just coming back to you guys to talk to you. On my last video, I said I wanted to talk to you guys about my transplant, and I am planning on doing that. But I have a few things that I'd like to discuss with you first. And the first thing is today is my husband and mine 10th anniversary. So we went over to Spearfish and ate at Guadalajara's, which is a really good Mexican restaurant. And but before we got to Spearfish, we got into a humongous fight, and because I was listening to CNN in my car, and my husband's very conservative Republican, and he started screaming, and I was like, I'm not doing this, I'm going back home. And he's like, fine. So we went back home, and I went into my bedroom and watched some YouTube videos. I love Eric Surf 6 and American versus Canada and Critical Eats and all that kind of stuff. So I watched a couple Eric Surf 6 videos and calmed down. Then I went back out and I said, are we going to try this again? And I said, I will change the channel, but that is my car, and I listen to the news when I'm in the car, and you can just bite me. And so I didn't talk to him at all going over to Spearfish, and it's about a 20-minute drive. But anyways, so we had supper, and I didn't eat very much because I don't like to eat very much in the summertime. Too hot. It was in the upper 80s today, so you know, it being a newly holiday for federal workers, I went to work this morning and realized nobody was there. Yesterday I was at our other campus in Hot Springs, South Dakota, which is about 90 miles away, and I was doing a controlled substance inspection. So I had changed my tour from 7:30 to 4 to 6 a.m. to 2:30, and they didn't declare it until after 2:30. So I didn't know that it was a holiday, and so I got up and got ready for work and everything, and went out to work, and ta-da! I didn't have to work. So I came back home, and I cleaned my house and did the dishes and did laundry and set my room up, because a good thing is I am going to be teleworking full time in the next couple of weeks. So my wish came true. I wanted to telework so bad, but I was talking with my doctor about my upcoming MRI, and I was telling him, you know, that my Mayo Clinic doctors wouldn't sign my telework agreement because it was for COVID, and I had already been vaccinated and stuff. But I was saying that, you know, the entire 13 months that I was teleworking, I was not sick one day. I mean, I had migraines and stuff, which I get migraines, but I wasn't sick with my annual cold in January. And you know, it was so nice because I was in my cocoon, and I would freak out whenever anybody from the outside would come into my cocoon without masks or, you know, all that stuff. My mother-in-law. So anyways, so he said he would sign my telework agreement. So I asked my boss if I could do a reasonable accommodation, which in the federal government means that they have to consider accommodations for people who are either temporarily disabled or have medical issues. And I definitely have medical issues. So it was approved through St. Cloud. I believe that's where the HR person is. And I'm just waiting for Dr. Coons to sign the paperwork and write the letter and all that stuff, and then to have it go through HR. And then I will be teleworking full-time from now on for the next 14 years. So I'm so glad about that. I'll still be doing my normal job, only from home. I'll still be going into the VA for inspections. I'll still be going in for, I'm the minute taker for 3 different big meetings. Whenever we have a controlled substance meeting or have to meet with new inspectors and we don't want to do it over Teams, I'll be going in for those kind of meetings. I only live 5-10 minutes away from the VA, so it's no big deal. But medically for me, I think that I need to be teleworking because my immune system is really trashed, and I'm just getting hit with more and more things the older I get. And cancer's been a lot of it and stuff. In my last video, I was telling you guys about this little red spot on my face. It came back yesterday. The test came back yesterday, and it is cancer. So I have to have the Mohs procedure done on it, and that's where they opened me up. I had the Mohs procedure done there, and they've left a little stitch in it and stuff, and I can't get that stitch out, so I'm gonna have to have my dermatologist take it out and stuff. But the thought of them cutting my face, I'm not happy about that, but yet I don't want cancer, so yeah. But I've been dealing with lots of cancer lately, and it's been on my neck region and my face up here and stuff. And you know, they cut me up here, and that really didn't matter that much. But down here, you know, I don't know. It just bothers me. But like I said, I don't want to have cancer, so I'm going to let them cut me. I'm going to request that they make it a really tiny incision so that it won't look. I mean, this is getting better, and I've been putting lots of cream on it and stuff, but it looked really bad when I took the bandages off and stuff. But it was, you know, still healing and stuff. Buck and Brooklyn are on my bed. They're being naughty tonight. Brooklyn is in her first heat, and she's been in her first heat for 2 weeks, and I'm thinking she should be going out of it, but she is still in her first heat. Buck is neutered, thank God, because he has just been going after her like crazy. We didn't get him neutered before all of his hormones came into his body, so he still thinks that he's able to get other dogs pregnant and stuff, and he's always humping everything and stuff, and he's always after Brooklyn, and she just, you know, is just loving it, and she just lets him mount her and stuff, and I'm just like, stop. I have to get Brooklyn fixed and stuff. So, and I'm planning on doing that. Yeah, I just didn't get it done before she went into her first heat. But yeah, she needs to get fixed too. I would love to have Cocker Spaniel puppies because I love Cocker Spaniels, but I don't want to deal with that mess again, so I need to get her fixed. So I wanted to talk to you about my transplant, and because that was the beginning of all my health issues. So in '92, I did not have any health issues at all growing up. I was actually diagnosed with viral cardiomyopathy in '94, and it was right around my birthday, so around September 22nd is my birthday, but I think it was like the 25th or something like that that I was actually diagnosed with cardiovascular myopathy. And since that time, I've been on a ton of pills, and it's done so much to me. And I tell people all the time, I feel like I'm 120 years old, and they're like, you're 48, you know, how can you know what it feels like to be 120 years old? I will show you guys all the pills. So this is all of the pills that I'm on. I take a multivitamin, budesonide I had eosinophilic colitis in 2019, I believe, aspirin, of course, I take 9 calcium pills because I'm osteoporosis. I do this for my skin. This is my anti-rejection drug. I am on Zoloft, 25 milligrams. I've been on that ever since I had the transplant. And it's just to kind of keep me calm, because knowing that somebody had to die for me to live, that's a lot to deal with. Rovastatin, I'm not sure what that does. It might be a blood pressure medicine, or it's something. Cardura is a blood pressure medicine. Imuran is an anti-rejection medicine. Diltiazem is it's either cholesterol or a blood pressure medicine. Amoxicillin, that's just for my dental pills. Fosamax and Tramadol. Tramadol is an opiate, so if I don't take did I say Fosamax? That's not Fosamax. This is a stool softener. And if I take a Tramadol and I don't take a stool softener with it, I get really stopped up and stuff. So anytime I take a Tramadol, I make sure I take a stool softener. And then I do use a Benadryl every night for a sleeping aid. And I've only done that for the last couple of years. Lorastatin, they just put me on this because my blood pressure was really high and stuff. So I know I'm on a lot of blood pressure medicines, but being a transplant patient, it goes up and down all the time. So I am on Rovastatin, and then budesonide, which is also the same as this one. I just filled the medication. I take a Septra 3 times a week, and that's just it's just like an antibacterial medication. The iron pill I take daily. The baby aspirin I take daily. The Lasix I take whenever my ankles get swollen, and they've been getting swollen a lot since I've been back to work, and I don't know if it's the heat or if something's going on with my heart. So I've been kind of tracking how much I've been using the Lasix. And then I am on a patch. That's a blood pressure patch. And then I also do an estrogen patch because I had a hysterectomy. And I think that's about it. So yeah, I take up to 3 Tramadol a day because my left side is killing me all the time. My knee is really screwed up. My left knee is screwed up. My left ankle is screwed up. And it's funny because, that song, your ankle's connected to your bone, your knee's connected to your hip bone's connected to your back, all that stuff. It really is true. You have one thing that's out of whack, and the rest of your side of your body is out of whack. So it started in my ankle, and then went up to my knee. I've had arthritis in my ankle ever since I was a little kid, and then my knee started hurting. And I used to wear heels all the time, and my cardiologist said, well, your knee is out of whack because you wear those heels all the time. And they were like really big heels and stuff. And I thought, but they're so cute. And he's like, I know they're cute, Kenya, but they're wrecking your body. So I've been wearing flats for the last couple of years, and my knee is still just screwed up. And then I've got arthritis in my hips and in my shoulder. And I broke this wrist, my left wrist, when I was 14. I wrecked on a bike and broke my wrist. So that bothers me when the weather changes a lot. And then last October, I broke this knuckle because of my osteoporosis. In a 6-month period, I broke my right foot twice. I broke my left foot once. I broke 2 teeth. And I broke this knuckle in a 6-month period. And I was taking a lot of calcium, but I wasn't taking 9 pills a day. So they upped my calcium intake. And I've had a hysterectomy so that takes calcium away from my body. I've had gastric bypass surgery, so that definitely takes calcium out of my body. So I have osteoporosis big time. So I have to be really, really careful with any kind of tripping hazard or anything like that. The budesonide I take because I had eosinophilic colitis, and for anybody that's had colitis or Crohn's, oh my God, I feel for you. Mine started in May, and you're constantly running to the bathroom because you have constant diarrhea, and it's not from any kind of food, it's from just your body's water is, instead of going to your bladder, it goes through your other end. And so I was calling the Mayo Clinic after a week of it, and they're like, you need a colonoscopy. So I started calling around, and the medical community was not nice to me. My mother-in-law she's a head nurse for the person who does colonoscopies in Sturgis. And I kept saying to Jeremy, does your mother know what I'm going through? I told her. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't she, get me in to see the doctor and stuff? Jeremy told her something else, so she had no clue. But the people I would talk to would say, you're not our only patient. You have to wait for a colonoscopy. And I would say, but the Mayo Clinic is saying I need an emergency colonoscopy. Well, you're not our only patient. And I'd say, you know what, I'm not your patient at all. I'm going to Mayo. And so we left for Mayo, and I got right in to see them because my doctors knew how sick I was. But I didn't go until July. And so from the end of May until July, I was 102 pounds when I first started the colitis, and by the time I got to the Mayo Clinic, I weighed 84 pounds. And the only thing I was living on was Blackberry Powerade, because that's the only thing I could keep down. I stopped all my medicines except for my anti-rejection drug. And my cardiologist, I walked into his office, and he said 2 questions. And I said, what? And he said, how did you get up here, and why aren't you in a coffin? And I said, I walked up here, and I'm not in a coffin because I didn't want to be in a coffin. And so he sent me to the infusion clinic right away because my magnesium and potassium were so low that they were scared to death I was going to have a heart attack and die. And like I said, I dropped down to 84 pounds, and I got into the emergency colonoscopy right away. And I had done a lot of research, and I thought I had microscopic colitis, and that's what the doctors at first thought I had. But then they found all this eosinophils in my system, and eosinophils are an allergic reaction to something. So they started trying to figure out what I was allergic to, and they could never figure it out. And so when I got back, my mother-in-law said, well, what did they find out? And I said, well, I have eosinophilic colitis. And so she went back to the doctor here, and he's like, oh, she just is allergic to something. And I'm like, you know what? I hate it when people talk like that, because if you don't live in the transplant world or a transplant life, you have no clue what's going on in a transplant's body. I work with many nurses and doctors, and I tell them all the time, you can know anything and everything about medicine, but until you work with the transplant patient or work as a transplant nurse or doctor, you have no clue as to what's going to go on with the transplant body, because our immune systems are trashed, and we react so differently to stuff. So yeah, I was angry when I heard that, and I was like, no, I won't ever go see him because he has no clue what it's like to be a transplant patient. So that was my colitis, and then I had the major cancer here, and I've been having major cancer. I've been having lots of squamous surgery, but major amounts of cancer on my neck and then on my forehead and stuff. And like I said, Zoloft, it's just kind of a mood. I'm a happy person anyways, but you know, it's really hard to be a transplant patient, especially when you know that somebody had to die for you to live. And my doctors put me on this Zoloft right away after my transplant because it's a lot to deal with. And I had taken classes at the Mayo Clinic, and I learned how to deal with that. And I went off the Zoloft, and when I went off the Zoloft, I had a hard time dealing with the fact that this person died and donated his heart to me. And I still deal with it. I still think about it a lot. So I just stay on the Zoloft. It helps me out mentally. So those are my pills that I take every day. Most of them, I just take one a day, and I do it in the morning. My calcium, like I said, I take 9 pills a day because I broke everything 6 months ago. And my face creams, I have to do that whenever I have an incision. My multivitamin, I only take that once a day. So my watch, I have it set for timers. So I have, of course, my wake-up timer. And then I've got a 10 o'clock timer, so I know I have to take 3 calcium before 10 o'clock. And then I've got a 2 o'clock timer. I have to take 3 more calcium before 2 o'clock. And then I've got a 7 o'clock timer that I have to take 3 calcium before 7 o'clock. And I always have to have a full stomach when I take it. And that's so hard because I don't eat much. And so I'll eat like a piece of bread to take my medicine, and then I think, well, that's enough to take my calcium, but it's really not. So yeah. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to go through all that stuff. After my transplant, so I was transplanted March 23rd of 1994, and then 7 months later, I had my major stroke. And I was completely paralyzed on my right side, so my stroke was on my left side, and it was in the Broca's area. And I had to relearn how to walk and write and talk and all that stuff. Sorry. I had an enchilada over it at Guadalajara's, and it's kind of coming back at me. Anyways, and then I had radiation to stop me from rejecting. And then, 2003 I had gastric bypass surgery. 2010 I had the hysterectomy. And then 2016 to 2021 I've just been dealing with a lot of crap. So I do feel like I'm 120 years old with everything I've been through. I'm actually proud that I'm 27 years old in transplant years. There's people that are older than me, but I am actually proud of that fact. My mother, father are proud of that fact also, that I've done really well with this heart. And I made a promise to my donor. I have no clue who it was or anything like that, but I made a promise to him or her that I would take care of this heart as long as I could. And I think 27 years is going really good. Even though I've had some ups and downs, it's going really well. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And so you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm planning on just going and laying down. I'm completely exhausted. So yeah, I did not have a good anniversary today. So I'm not really talking to my husband right now. So I'll just go lay down and watch a little TV and then probably go to bed. I do need to go shut the water off. I am watering my lawn right now because it was hot today. It's been hot all weekend long, and my grass is burning up, so I've been trying to water it and stuff. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you later. Bye.